I looked right at the situation. We watched it. I looked right at it. They lying, bro. Listen, the whole situation, when they said he did drop the gun, you can hear the gun drop. He ran towards a trash can, and that's when they killed him, bro. He should have never been shot. In line, talking about he pointed a gun slightly of whatever. They lying on that, bro. They lying, man.
All right, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. All praises to the Most High. And this is a bit of breaking news. What you just heard is a eyewitness to the Cincinnati police execution of 18-year-old Ryan Hinton this past Friday. If I'm not mistaken, that's the date. Now, this case is significant because Ryan Hinton's father, Mr. Rodney Hinton Jr., was a day later charged with aggravated unalivement for allegedly running over a deputy in Hamilton County. So this, if you saw the videos from yesterday, this has taken, the nation by storm. But this person right here, and I'm going to play the rest of the call that I had with him, is going to show you how they are lying. And we're going to review those videos of the sergeant trying to explain what happened, which actually, and what he says is going to prove how they're trying to lie with their little still photos and their narrative. Like this brother said, he dropped the gun on the ground and started running. So their narrative is he was running and he pointed the gun to the police, but that is furthest from the truth. Just listen at my brother again. And once again, I shout out to my brother. We're going to protect his identity as for now. But just listen to the rest of what he has to say.
That's all the mother do is lie. And they covering up, getting all on TV, they can lie, bro. And they covering this young man killing up. It was a wrongful killing. And that's exactly what it was. Yes, he did drop the gun, but he did not have no gun by that trash can when that man killed him. As simple as that. Now, I take a polygraph, whatever they want me to do, they lying on me.
Okay, yeah, and you can tell that because they slowed the video. That they didn't show the whole video. They just showing you pictures.
Yeah, they showing 5-7. Okay, when they all jumped out the car, sure the police did come. Now, but they, they running this first when they say drop the gun, you can hear the gun drop. You can hear it. You know how a gun hit the. If he dropped that gun in the grass, you would not be able to hear it. He dropped that gun right there on the parking lot, man.
And they said it. They said he dropped the gun.
Yeah, I'm telling you what they did, bro. I said he dropped the gun. So I guess he not trying to be drunk. So when he dropped the gun, he continued to proceed by the trash can. He leaned up on the trash can. What no point, no hand, what no raising of the hand, raising of the arm where the officer can think he got a gun. Fucking lying. He just killed that young man for no reason at all. That's what he did. That's exactly what he did. So I'm telling you, the body cam they putting out, they only putting moments of it. They not putting the whole thing out. If they put the whole thing out, you'll see that he dropped the gun. They trying to make it seem like he dropped the gun so they hear it and then he pick it back up and ran behind the trash can. That's a fucking
And lie. They never said he picked it back up too. So
he did, and I'm telling you, the gun was right there. And then if they try to say, and when I looked at it, they seen the gun was on the grass, they moved that gun. They had to move the gun just to make it justified, just to try to put it in the grass area. Now think about this, bro. Use common sense. If you throw a gun in the grass, you think all the police going to hear over license sirens, and you think I'm telling you, the gun hit the concrete in the parking lot. And that's where he left the gun. He continued to proceed behind the trash can, stood up against the trash can, and that's when they killed that boy, man. In line, ain't no gun was with that boy when they shot him. And that's why I say if he had a second gun, he didn't have a second gun. They trying to say he had a magazine in his pocket. That ain't no gun. They lying on him, bro. They lying on him, bro. I'm willing to stand up for anything. They want to be, okay, give me the polygraph, and let's go on from there.
All right. So there you hear the brother. He's willing to take a polygraph, saying the young man dropped the gun and ran through the trash cans and stood up on the trash cans, and that's when they fired him up. But if you look at this video that I'm about to show you, and once again, I'm gonna break it down a little bit. I know y'all hate for me to stop doing the videos, but we gotta address these particular points on how they never show the entire video. They're just showing clips and pieces to paint that narrative. Watch what I'm saying real quick. Watch this.
This is body-worn camera from officer number 2. Go ahead, Bobby.
He's got a gun. He's got a gun on your right. On your right. He's got a gun.
Now notice right there what they did. They started playing the video, but then when it came to the part where the shooting was, they went back to them. They never show you that in full speed. You know why? Because that young man stood up against the dumpster. He was not running. Think about what they're doing. Look at it again. Watch what they do.
From any threat. That's what those officers did with the cars at that time. This is body-worn camera from officer number 2. Go ahead, Bobby.
Go ahead, Bobby.
He's got a gun. He's got a gun on your right. On your right. He's got a gun.
So just to give you an idea.
See, now she's going to explain what we didn't see, right? No, just show us what happened. Now, watch her once again try to explain it.
We have the 2 uniformed cars. We have 2 officers. There's 4 individuals in the stolen vehicle. All 4 individuals get out and start running, some in different directions. So officers decide which individual they're going to pursue. One officer decides to pursue the individual who we now know had a firearm in his hand. The other officer pursued another occupant that fled from the vehicle. And that'll be significant here in a moment when you see. So this is a still image. Again, I'm going to step out front. The car is parked over this way, okay? They are chasing the individual. So officer number 1 is chasing this guy right here, okay? This is the guy we ultimately end up shooting.
Now, see, they zoom in on him, right? They showing a still shot. This is where he dropped the gun, as the man said. He dropped the gun and the gun was still on the ground. But if you hear what she said, this was the one that had the gun in his hand. Yeah, he had it in his hand at this point, but he did not have it in his hand when they executed him. Why? These people are so devilish and sinister, man.
The other officer who actually fires the shot on this individual is chasing a different individual further out this way, in this direction. Okay? As this officer is chasing him, he sees a firearm in his hand, and he yells, "Gun, gun, he's got a gun." This individual slips, trips, whatever, falls on the concrete right here. Other officers that were also there say in their interview, they heard the firearm hit the concrete. They heard the metal from the firearm hit the concrete.
Now they hear the metal hit the concrete. Notice how she said she never says he picked the gun up again. And as the eyewitness said, he dropped the gun. The gun was on the ground right where you're looking at now. And the officers, quote unquote, heard the gun drop. They're saying they heard it for their narrative of, yeah, he had a gun, but they never say he picked it back up.
This individual gets up, still has the firearm in his hand, and continues to run through the dumpsters. Go ahead, Bobby. So these are some still photos. This is the officer who originally saw him with the firearm in his hand, calling it out. He runs through the dumpsters.
See, there's the still photo. You see how now the gun is covering him up, right? Trying to make it look like he's a threat. But they never show the actual shooting. If I understand it, the little man seen the police officer and stopped and laid up on the film, laid up on the dumpster.
This officer knows that there's another officer here that is going to ultimately encounter him when he comes through the dumpsters. So he makes him aware of that. He shouts out to him, on your right, he's on your right. And that's where this individual comes out from between the dumpsters. This is the other officer, the one who fires the shot. This is his body camera as he approaches the scene.
You see, they didn't show his full body cam footage. And look at their faces. They know they're wrong. Look how they're looking. They know they're wrong. That's an evil devil right there. That's an evil devil. They never show you the video. They just show the point where just to leave that image in your head. Oh, he had a gun. He was running from the police. He did not have a gun. The gun was on the ground.
This is the firearm that was recovered at the scene after the individual was shot. This is what he had in his hand while the officers were chasing him.
Now, there is the narrative. They picked the gun up off the concrete, like my man said, and put it in the grass. To paint the image, oh yeah, that is the gun he had. That is why he needed to be killed.
It's just a photo of it here at Criminalistics. Remember I told you he fell on the concrete? The officers said that they heard the metal hit the ground. There are 3 spots on here where this gun has scratches on it. We believe those occurred when he hit the ground with the firearm.
What type of firearm is that, Chief?
Semi-automatic. I don't know the make and model. This is a second. Sorry, Bobby, can you go back one frame, please? This magazine was in the firearm. That's an extended magazine, so it holds more rounds. Go ahead. This is a second magazine that was located in his sweatshirt pocket.
All right, so if it was in his sweatshirt pocket, then how is it on the ground? All right? And if it's in his sweatshirt pocket, why is there no blood on it? Why is there no blood on the gun? If that young man got shot multiple times like that, and as the person who told me, they said they shot him in the back. All right, that's enough. That's enough of that video right there. Let's remove that because we can see clearly what they are doing. They're giving you still images, and then when it's the real time, they don't want to show you that because that shows what the eyewitness said, that young brother did not have a gun. Even in the picture. Well, okay, let's go back to the other article, the other news article from yesterday. Even in this picture, it clearly shows him without a gun. Watch this right here.
And as we've been telling you, in an incredibly strange twist to this story, police say the man who hit and killed that deputy this afternoon in Corryville is the father of the man shot and killed yesterday by Cincinnati police. Now, whether the man in the car targeted that officer or this was just an unbelievable, bizarre coincidence, that is really yet to be known. That Cincinnati police officer who killed a man yesterday in East Price Hill says that he thought that his life was in danger when he shot the suspect, and we now know the identity of the man who died yesterday. He was Ryan Hinton, just 18 years old. He was one of 4 men suspected in a car theft earlier yesterday morning. Police shot and killed him when they say that he pointed a gun at an officer. Our David Winter has been following this story since the shots were fired yesterday. He joins us now in studio with a look at the video from the body cam worn by the officer who shot at that suspect. David.
Yeah, Kyle, first I want to tell you that it contains graphic video, so please use discretion in watching this story. It's a lot for younger eyes to see. Now, that said, it's video from the camera of the officer who is running, and it's not overly clear. This, again, is all related to that officer-involved shooting from yesterday. We now know that an Edgewood, Kentucky man reported his Kia SUV, that one right there, stolen early yesterday morning. Police tracked the car's GPS to the Westview condos in East Price Hill. Now, we obtained exclusive video from a resident in the complex. It shows men sleeping in that stolen car right there. And that was at about 9 a.m. A half hour later, police arrived at the scene. In the next 6 seconds, lives would change. Police say the 4 men jumped from the stolen car and ran when they were told to stop. Now, one of those men, Ryan Hinton, was shot by police. This is the gun that he had recovered at the scene, that police recovered at the scene. He also had 2 full magazines and a round in the chamber. Now to the video. First, we're going to show you the body cam video that was worn by that officer who shot and killed Hinton. That will be followed by Chief Thege's answer when I asked whether the suspect pointed his gun at the officer, and then I'm going to help clarify what the chief said.
Right there. Now, we all see that that young man doesn't even see that police. He is looking straight ahead. Looking straight ahead, and as the man, he doesn't even have a gun. The gun is on the ground behind him. He's trying to get away.
The officer is running, so the body camera is kind of jolting as the officer's running. What that leaves us with is a very blurred image, unfortunately. However, based on the officer's interviews, the officer who did discharge his firearm said that when the individual came out between the dumpsters, he had the firearm in front of him. He was in like a bladed position.
Based on the officer's interviews, now all of this bladed position and, based on the officer's interview, what else is the officer going to tell you, lady? Like, these people are just severely evil. Evil, man. They're so.
And it was pointed at the officer.
Look at the guy in the back. He can't even look straight. The guy to the right, he can't even look at the camera.
And he felt threatened for his life, and that's why.
Look how he looking at her. Look how he looking at her, man. That should tell you right there.
He discharged his firearm.
The chief said the suspect was in a bladed position. It's an important distinction, and here's what that terminology means. Let's pretend you're the officer and I'm the suspect.
This ain't pretend, man. We saw what we saw, man. That man was not thinking about that officer.
I'm running through these dumpsters. When I come out on the other side, I'm pointing my gun at you in a bladed position, threatening you theoretically.
And he was not even looking that way. So you don't need to clarify that for us, sir.
I do not need to turn to you and square up in order to threaten you with my gun.
Where's this young man turning, even acknowledging the officer?
All right, well, there will now be a full investigation with the citizen.
All right, so that's enough. I can't stomach no more. So you heard at the beginning of the video, eyewitness testimony from an eyewitness who saw that those police executed that man. The gun was on the ground. They moved the gun. The man had already dropped the gun, and they are lying, which we all know that police have propensity to do, all to cover themselves. And shout out to my brother. We're going to keep his identity, concealed for now, but he's willing, as he mentioned, to take a polygraph test under the right circumstances. But he definitely, is one who is not wanting to let this go, unaddressed. And hopefully, we'll be able to get him. He's willing to do a face-to-face interview, so hopefully we'll have him on the show soon as, once again, he gets under the right conditions, talk to the right people, because we all know how police do to people who have knowledge of certain things. But my brother is, he's definitely, not afraid, but he is cautious because, once again, he's seen some things that police are trying to cover up. And, I'm going to have some more information once again on the father. And the father is Rodney Hinton Jr., and that's him right there. He's currently being held without bond. And I must say, after talking to one of my elders, I must clarify this, that he is innocent until proven guilty, until otherwise proven so. So despite the charges of him running over a deputy, as they say, allegedly, and they're charging him with aggravated unalivement, my brother is still innocent until proven guilty. And somebody pointed out, it's funny how the body cam footage surfaces real quick when it's there to protect the officers, right? That was like that was like 30 minutes after our young brother's life was taken. Like, that was the same day. How often does families have to wait months and years for body cam footage to be released? And once again, they didn't release all of the footage. They showed still images, and when it came time for the shooting, they just most conveniently panned away. So we gotta be careful. We gotta pay attention, to what they're doing with the optics. The optics. The hand is quicker than the eye, as they used to tell me in the streets on the card table. But shout out to, once again, the Eyewitness. Hopefully we'll have him on the show, for him to, tell the exclusivity of what transpired. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this video in the comments. Once again, I thank y'all for tuning into the channel, liking, sharing, and most of all, subscribing to the videos. And, thank you all for, providing your input and all the calls and the texts and, all the ideas and the support. I really appreciate that. Because once again, this is about a people. And we have to protect and support each other, especially in times like this. So prayers go out to the Hinton family in both situations. And we got to do justice and do what's right, man. So y'all see the number 919-587-7782. Peace and blessings.